Okay, Gun Collector 007 here, and we're trying out a new product, and well, new for me, I should say. I guess it's been around for a while. And the product's called PolyWatch, and it is a watch polish for acrylic watch faces. So I'm going to try this out. I just acquired this vintage IWC watch, and if you can see, it's got a lot of scratches on the watch face, and I'm going to try to remove them because it's quite a valuable watch. I've done some research on this. It looks like this is the 89 caliber, and it was made from the 1950s to 60s, and this one is all solid 18 karat gold. So I did a little price check on them, and it seems for just the watch itself, they start in the $3,000 range, and then with the gold strap that's all 18 karat, they go up to $12,000 or more. This watch belonged to someone rather famous, but I will leave that part out, who that was, but it's now mine. So anyway, what we're going to do though is polish this up a little bit. And just before I do it, it's going to be a long, somewhat boring video, so feel free to skip ahead. There's basically three types of watch crystals. The least expensive one is what's on this expensive watch, actually. The least expensive one is an acrylic crystal, so basically plastic. But this was used early on very expensive watches for some reason. So even Rolex, some of their original watches had acrylic crystals on them. The next type of crystal that's out there is just called a mineral glass crystal, and this is also on a vintage 45-year-old Seiko watch that I just dug out of one of my drawers the other day, and I put a new strap on it, and I've had this literally since I was 12 years old. So very precious watch, worth $10 million at least to me, because of the sentimental value. But this has a mineral glass crystal on it, and last but not least, on a modern day Seiko, like this Seiko Turnograph, this has what's called a sapphire crystal on it. So this is the hardest and of all of the different crystals that you could put, and it is also the most scratch resistant. So that's it. So without further ado, we're gonna give this a little try. And again, I'm not gonna fast forward or anything, so you guys could speed or skip or do whatever you want. That's the beauty of YouTube. So what they say is you apply just a little bit of this product right to the watch face like that, and they say use a clean cotton cloth. So these are my gun cloths, which I got millions of, so we're gonna just try this. And it says to simply just polish in a circular direction for a couple of minutes, and it says if that doesn't work after a couple of minutes, do it again. And I have watched a few YouTube videos, and I've seen people do this 2 or 3 times, depending if you have a deep gouge or not in the watch. It could actually fill it in. So this is some kind of a compound that not only polishes the watch, it also fills in little cracks and scratches, and hopefully lets it look like brand new. So now, after a little bit, I already feel that it's dried up already. Now, I don't know, I'm going to apply a little bit more and see what happens. So this is $8 on Amazon, so if for $8 I could get a pretty expensive watch to look a lot better, why not? So even if I have to use the whole tube. So again, not many of my watches actually have this acrylic kind of a crystal. Most of them have sapphire, and a couple of my older ones have just a mineral glass. But again, you want to preserve things, you want to keep things to pass down from one generation to another, and that's it. So like I said, this particular watch is an international watch company, Schaffhausen. So it's made in Switzerland, Schaffhausen, Switzerland, and it was originally made for the British military services. So this watch, when the British military commissioned a watch from IWC, they said they want 3 W's. They want a watch for the wrist, and waterproof. And IWC, again, one of the one of the oldest watchmakers from the 1800s, they commissioned this particular model watch, the 89, and this is what you have. You know, to me, it doesn't look like a military watch at all by today's standards, which are just normally giant watches. This is only 36 millimeter. If you think about a military watch today, they're normally a lot larger, you know, up to 40, 42 millimeters. So this one, you know, is certainly a dress watch in my opinion, and I am going to wear it. So like all my guns, knives, anything that I collect, I actually use. I don't just have any safe queens. So, but I think it's, you know, pretty cool. It's not something I'm going to go around, you know, boxing with, you know, or doing any heavy duty work. It's just something, again, it has a lot of sentimental value, as again, it did belong to someone truly special, and it's now been handed over to me. So that's very nice of that person. So it's now been, what, about a minute and a half so far, and I could already see a tremendous shine on this. And I think what I'm gonna do is give it a couple of more little swirls on that, and then we will do a little, wow, I don't know if you could see that. I hope the camera, it actually took out I'd say about 50% of the scratches on it. There is one just right before the right after the 12 hand on there. There's one deeper scratch, so I'm going to put a little bit more. We'll get rid of that pad. I'm going to put a little bit more up there, and I'm going to throw a little bit more of this on there and see if we could get that other one out, or not just get it out. Like I said, this actually fills the scratches, so that's a pretty nice feature. So from looking online, if you have a mineral or sapphire crystal, it doesn't look like it does anything for those. So this will only work on the acrylic crystals. So, but you know, that's it, I guess. So if you have one of the other two, there are some people that I've seen take out Dremels and buff them out and all that. That's a little bit too much work for me. I would rather just go spend whatever it is, if it's a good watch, and take it to a reputable jeweler and have a new crystal put, you know, back on top of it, and you know, go from there. But again, right away it is polishing. I could see now with the scratches diminishing, there is a couple of little flaws right on the watch face itself. So somehow, I don't know, dust or some kind of particles or some of the 18 karat gold lettering might have worn off. But again, considering this watch is, you know, very old, decades old, from the 50s most likely, you know, what are you going to do? So you wear a vintage watch because you like vintage watches. If you want something new and accurate, go buy a Timex. You know, those seem to be very popular and very accurate. But again, this will be something if you're wearing a nice suit. You know, that's it. 14 karat gold hasn't been that popular over the last couple of years. It was really big in the 80s. I have a couple of, actually several 14 karat gold watches. But that's just being a New York Italian. We were big on our Italian gold jewelry made in Italy. So, but let's just give it one nice big smear now on that. And then white gold seemed to go into favor for the last decade or so, but now I'm seeing a lot of yellow gold products again. So people are wearing yellow gold Cuban link necklaces or neck chains, and then I'm seeing a lot of yellow gold watches again. So I have to dig out. I have a couple of old Rolexes that I haven't worn for a while because, you know, again, things are, you know, go in cycles, and they sort of sometimes look a little cheesy now that I look back on some of the old Rolexes that I got early on. and you know, especially the presidential with the diamond bezel. That's not something I'd just wear at this moment, but I actually might switch out the bezel, take the diamond bezel off, and just put just the regular gold bezel on it. So, you know, there's a lot of options with watches, and like, you know, collecting guns and knives and all the things I do, cigars, etc. There's a little maintenance that has to go into them. If you know, care for them, they could last for, like I said, generations. And I believe it was Patek Philippe Watch Company, which is another fantastic watch. They have a slogan, and it says, "You never really own a Patek Philippe. You merely hold it for the next generation." And how true that is, because you know, my children will eventually inherit anything that I have, and again, not everything is expensive. Like that Seiko I just showed you, that in the 70s retailed for about $150, and you know, you could probably find a used one like that on eBay now, probably for $70, but that was given to me as a young lad, and very special, and I keep it locked in a vault with all my other very expensive watches, because it means tremendous amount to me. So back to this here, it's absolutely polishing and doing a heck of a job, this PolyWatch, that's for sure. And I don't know, what is that, 2 or 3 that we've put on there so far? It looks like two or 3 coatings, maybe 3. But wow, it's giving it a nice shine, and it really is buffing out the scratches. And I'm really working on that one at 1 o'clock there, right before 1 o'clock. I know this camera sucks, so you're not going to get a good close-up, but take my word, for $8, this definitely looks like it's well worth the money. There are other things out there that are a little bit more abrasive, like jewelry polish. Some people swear by just using basic toothpaste to polish their watch faces, but this again is just made for it. I was going to put a little painter's tape on the gold part here, but I don't think it's going to do any damage, this little bits that I'm doing, because the person that had this watch pretty much wore it almost every day for the last 50 years, and he wasn't worried about damaging it. So I'll be a little more cautious, but I guess I didn't need the painter's tape, so I forgot it anyway. So let's see, let's give it a little bit more, and then we'll see what happens. So let's just take a little check. If you're still with me after all this time, let's see if we could zoom in a little bit. Let's see. You can see the IWC Schaffhausen, and without a doubt, it is definitely a lot clearer, that's for sure. So let's see if we can zoom in. Oh, this camera sucks. I might have to upgrade. It's just a matter of I'm not too technologically inclined, so but can you see that scratch right before the 1? So that's the one that's bothering me, but the rest of it, it looks pretty good. And the watch face on this has a ivory color, which I think goes really nice with the 18 karat. I have seen this model 89 with a solid white face. I've seen a black face. Looking on the internet, I haven't seen too many with this gold bracelet, the 18 karat gold bracelet. So just being as gold is roughly $1,500 an ounce right now, I think that also increases the monetary value on this. Most of the bracelets on the ones that I see on these IWC 89s are, you know, just leather or alligator bracelets. So that's it. I'm going to apply a little bit more pressure. I've just been going very lightly here because I'm chatting with you guys, if you haven't fallen asleep by now, but gonna apply a little bit more pressure, especially at that 1 o'clock area, and see if I could really just get those scratches out. And like I said, I've seen other YouTubers, you know, doing this with great results. And, you know, they've tried it many times, 5, 6, 7 times. And that's what even the directions say. It just says, just keep doing it and repeating it until you get the desired effect. I mean, I wasn't about to try a Dremel on this because I'm just not that inclined. But if this didn't work, then I just would have brought this to one of my local trustworthy jewelers and had him put a new watch face on it. And that's it. So far, I definitely give PolyWatch a big thumbs up. It's really making this old watch look like a new watch again. And there's obviously some scratches right around the casing because it is 18 karat gold, which is not that hard. So you have 10 karat, 14 karat, 18, and 24. And 24 is the softest. So there's not too much jewelry made in 24. Most jewelry is made in 14 karat. And this ring that I'm wearing here, this is also a vintage onyx ring. This is 14 karat, and that's been around since the 1950s. So I'm going back in time lately. I have a lot of modern watches. I just bought a new Panerai about a month ago, the latest version. And but I don't know, I guess because I'm getting older, something's calling me back to these vintage watches. So let's see. Just give it a little bit more, and then I think I'll end you guys' misery so you don't have to watch anymore. It's, I'm sure, as exciting as watching paint dry, but again, I want to give you my honest and true opinion, and I guess I could have sped this up, but my editing skills are not that good. So again, you guys know how to use the fast forward button on the bottom of the video, so you can just skip right to the end to see the finished result if you like, and that's fine. And again, I make these videos just for therapy, and I'm always honest. If something works, I say it works, and if something doesn't, I say it doesn't. I tell the truth. What's the point? Because I rely on YouTube videos for so many things. Even the other day I had to do a minor plumbing job, and I'm not handy at all, but a plumber couldn't come out, and I sort of needed it right away, and I just YouTubed something and got a part from the local hardware store, and I was able to complete it thanks to watching a YouTube video. So that's it. So let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. I like that number. So let's just give that, and I think that might be enough. So let's see. Just wipe off the excess now with the clean cotton. And you've just lost 18 minutes of your life, but I now have a nice polished bezel. So that's it. Thanks for sticking with me, guys, if you made it this far. I definitely, like I said, give PolyWatch a big thumbs up. Fantastic product. It definitely worked. Definitely cleaned the watch, and the watch face looks really good. Try one more quick close-up. You can see it actually took all the scratches out of there. So this old watch looks new again. Thank you to PolyWatch. All right, have a good day.